So yeah, Doug's our transaction coordinator.
Okay.
He's really kills it on all the transaction sides. Really, what we have him in here doing is gets a lot of stuff off of our plate so that we can just focus on finding more deals. So like he closes the old money, Rich and I go find the new money.
Okay.
So he does a fantastic job with that. I'm just looking at is my time better spent going to buy more deals, or is my time better spent should I be focusing on going and buying more deals, or should I be selling these lease options? And I think it's good to put Doug on selling the lease options, kind of like you do in your office.
Okay.
So that's kind of what I'm thinking. That's why he's on the call.
Okay.
Definitely had a few questions for you as we sign lease option documents in front of an attorney just as an extra safeguard. I saw that you were just kind of doing it over DocuSign as far as the lease and the option.
Mm-hmm.
Any downside to doing it with an attorney present, whether it's on Zoom or in person?
No, not that I know of. I don't, because that might deal with the states that he's in, but I've never had anybody tell me that. My attorneys don't tell me to do it that way. We do the DocuSign. When we go through the lease and the option, we do go through it section by section and make sure they understand it before we ever have them sign anything. But by then they've already done, they have the overview in our pre-marketing with them. They've gone through the application process. I've been qualified through that, whether it be the credit, evictions, whatever that might be that we use through Inago. So they know all of that. And so, no, we don't sign in front of an attorney. I see why he might want to do it. But it's more like a lease, or it's more like a rental agreement than it is anything else. So that's why I don't pay an attorney to go do it.
Okay. The only reason why I see it as a benefit, and this is the difference between you and me, you've been doing this since before I was born. And I've been doing this for the last, I've done 2 of these lease options. So there's a few things in here that maybe I can't answer, right? And I don't want the call to be like, hey, what does this mean? And I'm like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Because I'm assuming your calls are recorded, right?
Mm-hmm.
To protect yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, I mean, I'd prefer for somebody to be there. So if there's no downside of that, my attorney's already said, I'll be there on Zoom with you. Happy to do this. And he actually does lease options himself on his own rentals.
There you go.
So, cool. All right.
Yeah, I mean, if he's going to be there with you, that's not a problem. If you have questions on what part of our lease or option any of the section work look like, let me know. We should be able to go through it with you.
Sweet. Okay. So as far as houses, what are some things that if they're broken, you're fixing before people move in? Like, for example, windows, furnace, roof.
So I look at safety and health violations. So typically I'll look at GFIs, I'll look at smoke detectors. Those are the 2 biggies. If there's windows broken, it depends on the tenant buyer. So what I do is, if it needs a lot of work and it needs a little bit of remodel, but yet it looks like a good cash flow property and I take it down, I'm not going to be the one rehabbing it. I will market it as a handyman special. And with that handyman special, what I end up doing is I get the person that might be interested in it. I have them tell me how much they think it would cost to fix it. Well, usually it's not their labor. It's only going to be the parts they're going to go buy. And then what I do is I will put that towards their option fee as an additional grant at the end of the deal. So I might tell them there's a $15,000 option fee, and they come back, and I'll just use round number. Say they're telling me it's $5,000 to fix up the property or whatever. So then what I do is I go ahead and collect the 15 from them, but then I tell them that I will give them a grant when they exercise their option. So it's going to be a grant of $5,000 that's going to come off the purchase price. All I need is pictures and receipts showing that you did the work that you say you're going to do. So that's how I do it. If it is a furnace, now that's a safety and health violation. So I will fix it prior to, but usually I'm not buying properties that don't have working heaters and furnaces or air conditioners right away.
Okay. That is one thing that Harry said. Harry Borders is our attorney here in Louisville. That's one thing he said. He's like, you got to make sure you have heat. If it's okay if it breaks during the lease option, then they can fix it. But the days they move in, they need to have heat.
Right. Arizona, it's air conditioning. So I get that. So,
Okay,
and so
that makes
that
sense.
kind of stuff, that's the health and safety per state. Okay. They're all a little different. If you notice the way the lease is written, and when it comes to the repairs, and your attorney probably saw this, that yes, the tenant buyer is in charge of it up to the point that the state regulations force the owner to do it.
Mhm.
Okay. And I don't put codes in there anymore because every state's different, but it does state that in there. So typically what I do, even when it breaks, I still have the tenant buyer fix the furnace, but maybe they don't have enough money to do it. So I might pay for it up front and let them pay me back over time at no interest. I'll do stuff like that to help people out. And it's usually the air conditioners in Arizona that we have a problem with. The other furnaces, I've never had a problem across the country. They've all been in working condition because we do the inspections prior to make sure they are working before anybody ever moves in there.
Do you do like a legitimate inspection, or are you
Yes.
doing? Okay.
Absolutely. Yep. We full home inspection, full blown thing. Because we're
Third party,
looking.
third party inspection, or do
party.
you use your own
Nope.
people? Okay.
Third party. And we do that because I want a third party analysis of the property. Now, sometimes the inspectors screw you and don't really do a good job. I always like to get them on the phone afterwards and talk to them after they've done the inspection, whether I have the report in my hand or not. Now what I'm looking for from them is, would you buy this property and use it as a rental property? And most of these guys are pretty straight up and go yes or no, and will tell you why or why not. And because you got that third set of eyes on there. So that helps a ton. At the same time, when I get the report back, obviously, one of the major things I'm looking at foundation and make sure that that's all good. And then you're looking at the other areas of your roof, your electrical, your plumbing. What are the bones like? Is everything good that way? I don't care about cosmetic stuff. I do want it rent ready if we can, but sometimes I'll buy when they're not rent ready. They need some repair on them. And that's when the handyman special comes in.
What percentage of your lease option deals are handyman special that you're marketing?
5-10%, not much.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Mm-hmm. So what defines a handyman special? Because like a lot of times things will have like, for example, we've got 2 houses right now that are coming either available right now or coming available for lease option. Both of them have at least 1 broken window.
I'd fix the window just because you don't really, I mean, if it's minor stuff like that and I can get a handyman out there and, a couple $100 to get it done, fine. I'm not going to go in and do full-blown paint. I'm not going to do carpet or flooring. And I'll tell you why. I did it one time on a property. I put brand new paint, brand new carpet, everything, did a lease option on it because they're the owners or the pre-owners. They didn't like the carpet. They ripped all my carpet out. That was a waste of my money.
14 grand out the door. I saw that I watched the videos.
Yeah, I just don't do it. So, and that's what I tell them. Now, if they want carpet and flooring or painting and it needs it, if they don't say anything, and usually that I don't advertise as a handyman special. Okay. Mm-hmm. I sell it in the point, and I don't know in the course if it has a video in there of that, but I need to see if we got one. Usually what we let them know is, you know what, you're a pre-owner. You need to make this property your own. You want to go in and paint? Great. You want hardwood floors? You put them in. This is your house. You do what you want to with it. Okay. But really it is move-in ready. It is livable right now today. If they want to change it, great, change it. Sometimes we'll go in and clean carpets just to have it look better. But it's not that we're going to change them. So the only time I do a real handyman special is if we had a weak area in the floor in the laundry room because the washer kept overflowing for the old owners. So it needed to be torn up and put new subfloor down. That's a handyman special, but the rest of the house was all livable. And so we gave him a grant to fix the laundry room. We have one just now that we didn't even sell it as a handyman special. They took it over, but when they got looking at the kitchen and so forth, they found some mold that did not come out in the inspection report. And I did step up to the plate and help them take care of that. I paid for all the materials. They paid for all the labor and did it themselves and did a great job at it. So when it's stuff like that that just comes out of the woodwork that I don't know, it's my moral and ethics. I'm going to take care of it to begin with, so they start with something nice. But usually they're move-in ready, and that's what we're finding is move-in ready houses, because I just don't want problem childs, and I'm not a rehabber.
Okay, so if it needs too much work, it's just cash deal. Like you're gonna wholesale.
Cash deal, I'll push it off, novation. We don't wholesale, so I novate it out.
Okay, sweet. If it is like a handyman special, are you adjusting the rent based on that, or just market rent for a 3-bed, 1-bath?
So I don't ever do market rent. Okay. Have I gone through that calculator with you?
No.
Do you have a deal that you want to look at?
100%. Yeah.
Okay. So let me share screen and let's just go through the calculator. I'll show you how I analyze it. And my guys are doing this day in, day out on every single deal. In fact, they are told they have to use this calculator to actually analyze every deal before they ever bring it into underwriting. And then our underwriter actually opens up this calculator and sees how they actually analyze it to begin with.
Awesome.
And that's how we decide what bucket it's going to fall into. And let's use PR. So all I'm doing right now is, can you see the calculator there?
Yes.
Okay, I can blow it up a little bit so it's easier to read here. Hang on a second. All I'm doing right now is opening up what we call the big four, which is going to be your Zillow, Redfin, PropStream, and then we use RPR, which is a nationwide. Did that come up? Yeah, a nationwide MLS.
Okay,
is what it is. So that's what I'm pulling up right now, along with rental meter. And I won't share those screens because that's just a waste, but because all I'm doing is pull numbers.
It's helpful that I know this house inside and out, so any questions you want me to rattle off, I can rattle them off.
Okay, so looking at the calculator here, let me blow it up a little bit. Yeah, that's too big. All right, we're just going to be using this area here for right now. So do you own this house already, or are you buying it?
Yes, own it.
You own it. Okay, so what's your PITI on this?
Call it 750.
That's taxes, insurance, and everything.
Insurance, so 750 was the original. Okay. I don't know what we pay for insurance on top of that. Call that 75.
Okay. And taxes are included in the 750?
Yeah, they are.
Okay. So because you own this, let's say you don't. Let's say we're buying it. Okay, because this is how you'd analyze it. So if you're getting it's basically the principal, interest, and taxes are here, insurance is down here. If it's going to be a wrap, sometimes you'll have additional insurance. And you understand why on that, right? Or no?
Well, I always assume that on a subject to wrap, you need additional insurance on top of it, right?
Yes. Whoever's holding the deed still needs to have insurance on it. You want to keep
the seller keeps their insurance.
Yep.
And then I get my own insurance with additional insured, with the seller as additional insured.
Usually I don't even put the seller on it. No, because I don't care.
Okay, so just my insurance.
Yeah, just your insurance to you, because if you're the deed holder. Now, if you're not the deed holder and you take an agreement for sale or contract for deed, then you would put the seller's name on there too. The reason why you don't really want the seller's name on there is if you have a catastrophe and you get a big burn and the check comes from the insurance company, the mortgage company will have to sign off, which you don't have one, but you do have an additional insured. That means you got to go find that seller to sign off on that check so you can cash the damn thing.
Okay.
So you really don't
maybe look at our policy there.
For Winchester.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you want to see how you have it set up, because you don't want to have to go find that seller to do anything. And then it depends on what your paperwork says. If you're using my paperwork, it says that any insurance proceeds while you are in possession of that house all come back to you. The seller has to sign off on it, but I don't know what your paperwork says. Okay. And that's a huge one because a lot of times sellers will want to pocket that money and not give it to you.
Yeah, that's the best mailbox money.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't do anything.
Yeah. Okay, so going through this, just analyzing it. I'm not going to fill the top portion out. That's just information that we use internally, or if you're using it as a team. So right here, I'm just using just standard rent. So here it's on Zillow. It's saying 1933. Oops, come on. 1933. On Rent-A-Meter, it's saying 1850. Okay. With this, because you already own it and so forth, with these rents in here right now, with just your principal and interest or your PITI, with what we have here, it's not an association or anything. Looking at it, I doubt. Okay, perfect. So right here, the way the calculator works is it's going to take the lowest rent, the 1850, minus what your expenses are. Now, because you're doing a lease with an option, you no longer have the 40 or 50% expenses. Okay, your vacancies, your maintenance, your capital improvements, and your property management. Okay, that's your big four, and usually each of those are 10%. So that goes away. So you can't use this calculator to analyze if you're going to be a landlord. You can only do it if you do a lease option. So with this, you have a potential of making $1,000 a door. Okay, for profit, because you don't have any of those other expenses. Now, what I just got in saying, when you look at the rents on lease options, is we go and take the highest rent in the area, which is the 1933, and depending on the house, yeah, this is a house I'd be all over. I love it. Okay,
We're all over it.
That's exactly what the stuff I look at.